So you've decided that now is the time that you are going to figure out your finances and you're going to finally create the B word, a budget. I'm going to walk you through step by step. This is going to really be a two-part video, step by step, on how to create a budget, how to look at your expenses and your income, and how to do it in a way that's hopefully not confusing. I'm going to give you all of the tools and the tips that you need in order to learn to look at your finances and know what to expect when it comes to your expenses, to meet your financial goals, to pay off your debt. We're going to look at everything from start to finish. I even have some completely free trackers that I will have linked in my video description for you to download to follow along with this tutorial. Hi everyone, my name is Nailea with Do Money, and this video is again a total beginner's budgeting guide. We're going to start from zero and go all the way through a year of review so you can know what to do this year, next year, and beyond. First, I'm going to talk a little bit about my money management philosophy. I have personally done a lot of schooling, and in school, if you recall, we truly learn something by breaking it down into the most minuscule pieces possible. For example, we learn to add, subtract, multiply, and divide by hand. We do it all by hand, and then by the time we start using a calculator, we're doing a lot more complex mathematical calculations, right? So with that same kind of analogy in mind, what we're going to do is we are going to take on our finances and our budgeting by hand. So we're going to write it all out, look at the information, analyze it, digest it. For any of you out there that may have tried dieting, I have tried dozens of diets in my life, and usually the very first step is to write down exactly what you eat as it stands that day, as it stands that week or that month. And what we're going to do is the same thing but with our money. So we're going to take our current situation. We're not going to, look to the future. What we're going to do is we're going to analyze where we are today, and that's the very first step. The first thing we have to do is learn our spending habits. So first thing that you need to do is learn a little bit about yourself, and then we can plan for the future. So in order to do that, you need to go to your bank website and download a month's worth of a financial statement. And also, if you happen to use one particular credit card pretty often, or two credit cards, you want to print out a one monthly statement for those as well for the same month. So we're going to write down, we're going to do our budget based on that 1 month. We're going to do like a look back, and that way we can learn to budget and forecast for the future. All right, so now I have my bank statement, and I have a pencil and some other writing utensils. And the next thing that you want to do is go to the link below in the description and download the totally free yearly expense tracker that I've created, as well as the monthly budget tracker. So these are on my website. Please click the link below, grab yourself a copy, a PDF, and print it out. All right, so hopefully you went to my website and were able to easily download the expense tracker, the yearly expense tracker, as well as the monthly budget tracker. So we're gonna go over these two documents in the video today as part one of budgeting for beginners. What we want to do here is we want to track all of our expenses, and this is where all of our fixed expenses, and this is where our bank statement comes in. Like I had shown you before, I printed out my bank statement, and I'm going to go ahead and use this as my reference guide if I don't remember all of my fixed expenses. For example, my utility expense, I know it's $41.26, and I can find it here. It comes out every single month out of my bank account. So you can do the same thing and use your bank statement to find what your fixed expenses are. All right, I'm going to start off, the year is currently 2022, and I'm going to start off with my first line item is my mortgage loan. This expense is fixed. It comes out every single month out of our bank account. So the frequency is going to be monthly. And then the auto field is to determine whether or not the expense comes out automatically. And yes, it does. So I'm going to go ahead and mark as an X. Now, the purpose of this tracker is to mark every month, every time the expense comes out of your account. Whether you pay this manually or it comes out automatically, it's really important to still keep track of all of your expenses, because you don't want to, if you let a machine run itself, right? You always want to double check it and make sure that things are going as smoothly as they can. Another fixed expense we have is our cell phone bills, and that also happens monthly, and that also comes out automatically. Next, we have car insurance. That comes out monthly. So again, you can follow along, look at the different types of expenses that you have, and break it down one at a time. We have a charity, for example, that we give to every single month. So I went ahead and put that in there because that is a fixed expense and it comes out automatically. So that counts here. Then we have our energy bill, our water, right, our internet. And these are all monthly, and they come out automatically. This is something I will emphasize over and over again for your expenses to come out automatically. This is the best way to ensure that you're paying your bills on time. All right, now I want to go over a specific type of expense that is paid annually, but we have to save for it every month. So in our example, I'm going to say house insurance / property taxes, and I'll tell you why. So for us, we own our home, but we have a loan against it. So that is separate. That's our monthly loan payment. It comes out automatically. Because we own our home, we have to pay our house insurance and our property taxes separately. And this happens annually. But I save for this every single month in a separate online bank savings account, so that when the time comes to pay this bill, I have what I need to pay it. So this, I'm still going to say it's monthly because I have to know that this expense is coming out of my account every single month. So how do you figure this out? So for example, I'll use the notes down here. Our house insurance and property taxes total for the year, let's say it's $5,000. And I have to divide this by 12. When I divide this by 12, I get $416 a month that I have to pay. So now I know that there is a monthly expense. I have set this up for automatic withdrawal out of my checking account to a savings account. But the other thing that I need to take into account is that I have to pay the property insurance and the property tax bill at some point during the year. So I have to know that at some point I need to take the money out of this savings account, move it to my checking to be ready to pay that full payment. So because these are also individual fixed expenses, I'm going to make a line item for each one. And this is, and instead of writing annual, I'm just going to put February because that's when it comes out. And then I'm going to put November because that's when those are due. So these actually don't come out automatically. I have to write a check or pay online. And so because this does not come out automatically, I'm going to put a dash there. And then this comes out in February. So I'm going to leave February open and I'm going to mark off the rest of the year. You can, of course, do this with a highlighter, whatever it's convenient for you. Then this property taxes, I pay this in the month of November. So I'm going to cross off all the other months and leave the month of November open. Right? So I know that to expect that I have to pay these. This number here, the house insurance and property tax number, it might change year over year as property taxes and house insurance goes up. But the fact that you are paying it every single month does not change, which is the information that you have here. And when you have to pay them is not likely to change either. But as maybe next year it does change months, you can change that here. All right, another fixed expense that I have, let's say, is Disney Plus. So Disney Plus is actually annual, and it does come out automatically, but it does not come out until the month of December. So I'm going to cross off all of these other months, and I'll highlight December here. Now, I could be saving for this every single month, but since the amount is not significant, I think it's like $90, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it as an annual expense. And when December comes, I will make sure to have a line item in my budget, and we'll go over what that means here in a little bit, so that I know that I have to pay that bill, that I can anticipate that expense that month. All right, so now I am done filling in my expenses. This is a really great time to really look at this worksheet and identify any expenses that you may not know you're paying for. You know, maybe some gaming app, maybe you have Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, Peacock, and every other streaming software possible, and you're paying for them every single month, and you might not be using all of them. So this is a really good time to stop and contemplate, look at your expenses, and see where you might have an opportunity to cut things out. Thank you so much for holding on till the end. If you liked the video, please click that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell so that you can be notified when part 2 of the Budgeting for Beginners videos is up. Hey everyone, a quick note from the edit room here. If you're fired up about budgeting, if you're ready to go and ready to move on to the next step, the worksheet that we worked on in this video, the expenses worksheet, is just the beginning. We will be going over the monthly budget next and more after that. And all of these worksheets are all encompassed in my budget book that is on Amazon, and I'll link it below. So if you want to go ahead and get started and grab this book, I really encourage you to do that and follow along with all of the videos in this tutorial that's going to get you through from A to Z on all of your budgeting questions. And here's a little snippet of the book. You have instructions here as well that help the user, guide the user on how to use each sheet. Here is the yearly expense tracker that is free on my website. Here's the monthly budget. And there's lots of space to do this for a few years in this. And we also have in here savings tracker for a year, for a few years worth actually. Then you have debt tracker, so we'll talk about getting out of debt and tracking that. And then we also have looking at the full year in review. This will be the final step in our budgeting journey. And then there's also some paper in the back to take notes. So I highly encourage you to go to Amazon, get your budget planner, and follow along with all the videos.